Welcome to Star Watch Now, your front row seat to all the hottest gossip, drama, and breaking news from the world of entertainment. If it's trending, shocking, or star-studded, we're covering it. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Once upon a time, a young boy stood behind one of China's biggest stars, Han Geng. Just a background dancer, barely noticed, his face still round with youth. Today, that same boy stands in front of millions as one of Asia's most admired performers, Wang Yibo. When Han Geng saw him again years later, he was speechless. The transformation wasn't just in appearance. It was in presence, confidence, and the quiet power of a man who had carved his own path. This isn't just the story of fame. It's the story of growth, perseverance, and what it truly means to stay authentic in a world that never stops watching. At 14, Wang Yibo was just a boy standing in the shadows of the stage lights, a young dancer hidden behind the brilliance of Han Geng, one of China's biggest stars at the time. His face was soft, almost childlike, and his movements carried the energy of someone who hadn't yet learned fear. In that moment, no one in the audience could have imagined that this quiet boy, moving with such focus and discipline, would one day command stages across the world. There was something unspoken about him even then, a kind of calm conviction that separated him from the rest of the dancers. He didn't seek attention. He simply belonged to the rhythm. Those who saw the old photographs years later could hardly recognize him. The transformation was striking, not because of fame or glamour, but because of how time had sculpted his features and deepened his presence. People began to whisper about surgery, about image changes, about all the surface things that the entertainment industry often obsesses over. Yet when you look closely, the truth is simple. His face had matured, not changed. What altered was not the bone but the spirit, the confidence that comes only from years of persistence and quiet endurance. Behind every snapshot of that young boy was a story of relentless practice. While most teenagers were discovering hobbies or friendships, Yibo spent his days perfecting every step, every beat, every subtle motion of his body. The stage, even then, was not a place of fame for him, it was a place of learning. He studied not only dance, but how to read the energy of a crowd, how to breathe through nerves, how to let music replace words when words were not enough. His journey began not with applause but with silence, the kind of silence that builds character rather than ego. What makes Wang Yibo's beginnings so powerful is their ordinariness. There were no dramatic breakthroughs, no early promises of stardom, only a boy with determination strong enough to outlast time itself. When Han Geng saw him years later, standing tall and unshakable under his own spotlight, he wasn't just seeing a familiar face. He was witnessing the result of patience, growth, and an unwavering love for art. That transformation, invisible to most in its early years, became the foundation of everything that would follow. There comes a time in every artist's life when passion meets reality, and for Wang Yibo, that moment arrived when he left home to train in South Korea. He was barely more than a child, carrying a small suitcase and a dream that outweighed his years. The air of Seoul was colder than anything he had known, and the nights felt endless, filled with repetition and exhaustion. Yet in those long hours of practice, when the mirrors reflected nothing but fatigue, something began to take shape inside him. Not just skill, but resilience. Every movement, every correction from a trainer, every stumble and recovery became a lesson in discipline and humility. There were no shortcuts, no applause, no soft encouragement. Only the rhythm of hard work and the quiet belief that one day, all of this would mean something. The trainee system in Korea is notorious for its intensity, but Yibo never complained. He was the kind of person who turned pain into progress. When others rested, he stayed behind, practicing his steps until they felt like second nature. He learned to understand music not just as sound, but as emotion, the heartbeat of performance. Those years stripped away any illusions of glamour that people often attach to the entertainment world. He faced isolation, language barriers, and the constant pressure to be perfect. But he also discovered endurance, patience, and the profound satisfaction of growth. Each day, he built not only his technique but his character, one quiet moment at a time. In 2014, when he finally debuted as part of the group UNIQ, It wasn't the beginning of his journey. It was the proof of it. Standing on stage for the first time, he carried with him the weight of every sleepless night, every moment of doubt, and every drop of sweat shed in silence. The applause was loud, but what echoed louder in his heart was relief. The understanding that he had earned this moment, that nothing had been given freely. His eyes, once uncertain, now reflected calm confidence. Those early years away from home had shaped him into more than a performer. They had forged an artist. The boy who once stood in the background had learned to hold his ground, not through fame, but through the steady strength of someone who had already survived the hardest part, believing in himself when no one else could see what he would become. When Wang Yibo joined the long-running variety show Day Up in 2016, few expected that the quiet young man with modest gestures would soon command such attention. At first, he seemed almost too reserved for the vibrant stage, speaking softly, smiling politely, often standing at the edge of the frame while seasoned hosts filled the space with words. Yet behind that calm exterior was someone carefully observing, learning how to engage, when to step forward, and when to listen. There was an elegance in his restraint, a poise that hinted at maturity beyond his years. He didn't rush to impress. Instead, he allowed his authenticity to do the work. That patience would soon become his most defining trait. One afternoon, during a talent segment, the audience's chatter softened as Yibo stepped onto the stage. He didn't say much. He simply let the music begin. Then, as the rhythm filled the studio, his body came alive, precise, fluid, powerful. Each move spoke of years of training, of nights spent perfecting details unseen by most. The transformation was undeniable. The same boy who once hid behind others now drew every gaze without demanding it. The studio erupted in applause, but Yibo only bowed lightly, his expression calm. It wasn't pride that shone through him, but gratitude. A quiet recognition that this was what he was meant to do. From that day forward, people no longer saw him as the shy newcomer. They saw a performer with grace, discipline, and integrity. His journey on Day Up was more than a professional milestone. It was the start of something deeper. The show's fast-paced environment required wit and adaptability, yet Yibo found his own rhythm amid the chaos. He didn't chase laughter or headlines. Instead, he connected with the audience through sincerity. When he spoke, it was thoughtful. When he laughed, it was genuine. Slowly, he built a bridge between artistry and humility, a rare balance in the entertainment world. He proved that charisma doesn't always come from volume or extravagance, but from quiet confidence and emotional honesty. In every episode, every unscripted moment, he carried himself with the composure of a gentleman, someone who respected the stage as both a gift and a responsibility. It was through this balance of strength and grace that Wang Yibo truly began to rise, not just as a performer, but as a man who understood that real presence begins with inner peace. Then came 2019, and with it, a role that would change everything: Lan Wangji in the Untamed. His calm eyes, subtle gestures, and emotional restraint touched millions. It wasn't just acting, it was storytelling through silence. And it proved something powerful. Wang Yibo wasn't defined by his looks. He was defined by his depth. The drama exploded worldwide, making him a household name not just in China, but across Asia, Europe, and beyond. Offstage, he remained grounded. When a fan once asked for his autograph but didn't have a pen, he simply took her phone and typed Wang Yibo, smiling gently. Moments like this showed who he really was, not a star chasing attention, but a young man who remembered where he came from. While other celebrities fought scandals, Yibo focused on his craft: motorcycles, dance, film, racing. He quietly became one of the few artists respected for both talent and humility. Han Geng himself once said, "He's no longer the boy I remember. He's grown into something extraordinary." In the following years, Wang Yibo won 2 consecutive championships on Street Dance of China, a feat that few could achieve. Every spin, every step carried the years of unseen effort. His body became the archive of his dedication, proof that greatness isn't born overnight. He now stands as a mentor, an inspiration to the next generation of dancers who, like him, dream of shining one day. What once was a boy behind the spotlight has become a man who lights the stage for others. So, what truly shocked Han Geng, and perhaps all of us, wasn't how much Wang Yibo's face changed, but how beautifully his spirit evolved. His aura now carries patience, discipline, and quiet confidence, qualities that no fame can manufacture. He reminds us that time doesn't only age us, it shapes us. It turns innocence into strength and dreams into legacy. Look at Wang Yibo now, an artist, a racer, a dancer, a man of principle. And behind it all, the same spark that began when he was just 14. That's the real story, not of plastic or perfection, but of growth, grace, and gratitude. If this story inspired you, give this video a like and share it with someone who believes in second chances and quiet strength. And if you'd like to keep discovering the untold journeys of Asia's brightest stars, subscribe to Star Watch now, where every story shines, one light at a time. Thank you for watching, and remember, true brilliance is built, not born.